What's going on, everybody? You are listening to the ESPN Prod Pod. This is the podcast that goes behind the scenes on the content you love, the people that create it, and everything in between. Before I go anywhere, you know exactly what I got to do. Got to give a shout out to the amazing, the greatest producer in the world, Kiki. Got to show her love every time I get a chance. And today, we talk to one of my main mans, 150 grand, my man, Jay Harris. Jay, what's up, man? It's been a minute.
I'm just 150. I can't be 200, 300, 400, half a mil.
I'll get a loan and get you some more.
My man, I like how you think. That'll work. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, man. It is an honor to have you. So, right off the bat, for those that don't know you or know what you do, what do you do and how do you do it?
Honestly, I try to relate to the audience as my authentic self. I try to inform when I can, entertain, have a good relationship with my co-anchor, get stuff right when I say it, and not cuss. And as long as I don't cuss, more often than not, I can come back the next day. But that's pretty much what I try and do. I just try and keep it very simple.
Now, Jay, when simple to you may look incredibly drastic to somebody else, because it's not, you're making it seem like anybody could jump up there and do that. This is something very intricate and very, you got to be detail oriented. Can you talk about what it takes to do that? Because in college, everybody wants to be on TV. Everybody in media wants to be a reporter in front of the camera, if they have that kind of personality. But talk to us about what it takes to do it over day in and day out for the amount of time that you've done it.
Honestly, what it takes is to do it day in and day out for the amount of time that I've done it. I was that person in college who wanted to do this, who thought I would be pretty good at it, who was halfway decent on my college show. But looking back on the tapes now, I was horrible. Because when you're just starting out, pretty much no matter what you do, you are horrible. Unless you're a doctor or like an airline pilot, you try not to be horrible. But for us, like on television, you have that grace. That's why you go to market number 137 in some city or state that I can't pronounce and may not want to live for more than 6 months, and you apply your craft there. But I've been fortunate to do it for a good while. I've been fortunate to make a lot of mistakes, and I've been fortunate to have worked with people that allow me grace behind those mistakes so I can understand what I did wrong, so the next day I can eliminate that mistake from my vocabulary or whatever it is. So I'll have to learn a new mistake the next day. I won't repeat the same one. And then you just try to minimize those every day. You go in with a plan, and the plan changes before you get on the air, right as you go on the air, or halfway through your show. And you just got to go with it.
So walk me through that, Jay. When you hear it, from the time that you get it and your producer says, this just happened, we're going with this, what do you do after that?
It depends on how much information we have. I'll give you an example. It was the day Steve McNair died, or we found out that Steve McNair was dead. We later learned that Steve McNair had been shot. But at the time, it was a Saturday. It was July 4th. My buddy Mike Hill, who was at the Black News Channel, was still here doing SportsCenter. And we were going to have a fun show. We were coming on at 6 o'clock, following the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, which would have aired earlier that day. So we had decided we were going to have some fun, and we were going to have an eating contest on the air, but we were going to be healthy, right? Not hot dogs. So we we're going to go to the cafeteria. We're going to make big salads, and we're going to have a healthy eating contest on the air. Planned it out. It was fun. It was laughing. We were hanging out. It was great. Sunny outside. It was a great day. It was a fun day. And our coordinating producer was on this thing, on this computer, this pretty new thing called Twitter, and says, hey, says here that Steve McNair is dead. And we're like, what? It's like, yeah. This was maybe 2 hours before the show. Maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going on at 6. He's like, yeah, there's a Nashville TV station that's reporting that Steve McNair is dead. So Mike used to work in Nashville, so he gets on the phone. The news desk tries to, verify that this story is true. And it was true. So that whole fun show that we had planned with what other highlights that we had and other news items is gone. Yeah. It's gone. No salad, nothing is gone. And we go from a 1 hour fun sports center to a 2 hour all about Steve McNair, trying to report the story, to find out as many details as we could as to what happened and why it happened, which wouldn't unfold for the next several weeks. So in the moment, you just try to report the story and talk to as many people as you can who, knew Steve McNair, played with Steve McNair, were touched by Steve McNair, maybe coached Steve McNair, whoever we could talk to. And that's what we did for 2 hours, basically. Those things, they'll happen during the show, and we'll have to pivot, and they'll get people on the phone, and we just have to, talk about these people, which honestly, it takes us back. It strips everything down and takes us back to who we're supposed to be in the beginning. We're supposed to be storytellers, right? We're supposed to just talk about what's going on and relate to the one person in the audience that we're talking to. That's a little bit behind the scenes of what we do in those breaking news kind of situations. Yeah. You don't see the arguments in the newsroom, or people yelling in your ear from the studio, or when something isn't going to make it and you have to fill 30 seconds because something is loading or the computer just crashed or whatever. And no, you don't see all of that stuff. But the fun part is, it used to be, you're watching television and something happens and they'll go, oh, technical difficulty. People still do it. Oh, we have technical difficulties, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in technical difficulties. Like if the computer froze, I'm gonna tell you, the computer froze. So we can't play that clip. We go try to unfreeze the computer and get the clip for you after commercial. Are we going to commercial? We're not? Okay, where are we going? All right, okay. So this is what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna just go tell you, because I think it's more fun that way and it's more honest that way. Because you're in the audience, you're not dumb. You know something's going wrong. So why am I trying to fake it? It happens. It happens on our job. Things go wrong. Things go right most of the time. But when they go wrong, you can join in with it. And I'm just going to let you know. It is what it is.
When people started to think about how they watch sports and they heard you speaking and talking to them as if you were sitting right next to them in the living room or wherever they were, more people tune in. And more people keep tuning in. When you think about that and you start to talk about delivery, presentation, what are some of the keys for you, as an anchor and in somebody that delivers the news for delivery, for presentation? What are your keys to that?
When I'm writing, and for whoever I'm speaking to right now, we write most of our own stuff. We don't come and sit down and it's handed to us on a silver platter. We go in, we get a blank slate and a rundown, and the producer says Cincinnati Bengals, and I can write whatever I want to write. So I go into the Google machine again and try to find maybe the research notes, try to find something interesting that I think is interesting, and hopefully maybe you will think it's interesting, and I try to craft a story. I try and take the information in and spit it out of my fingers the way I would tell you if we were talking in the barbershop, minus the colorful language that you get in the barbershop, mind you.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back now.
All right.
You have over 30 years in the business. What made you choose this business, though?
That was easy for me. When I was in the 11th grade, I took one of those career aptitude tests that they give you. And I scored well in the area of interpersonal skills. And I looked at the jobs that were listed, and I think it was the third job down. It said journalist. And I said, okay, that's what I'll be. That's what I'm going to do. At the time, I was on the yearbook staff at my high school, and I really liked my English class. I liked writing reports, and I was one of those kids who would not be too shy about getting up and speaking in front of the class. So it felt like it fit me. So from the 11th grade on, I kind of had tunnel vision. So I knew early what I wanted to do. Apparently I knew earlier than that, because one of my aunts tells me when I was single digits, I told her that I was going to be on TV one day. I don't remember it, but I don't know why she would lie. So I guess it's just always been in me.
To go back to what you're talking about feeling okay to be yourself, especially on camera to millions of people, what was the moment you felt like you arrived?
I'll let you know when that happens. I'll let you know when that happens. I feel more comfortable now, but I'll let you know. And honestly, I hope it never happens. Because once you feel like I've arrived, I'm the man, and then you start to mess up. And I really don't want to do that, because I like to eat, and I got people dependent on me to bring home a paycheck, and I don't want to get fired. So I'll let you know. But it took me, as far as the comfortable part, when I first walked through the door, man, I was scared to death, because I never done sports before. I was always a news person. Oh, silly me didn't equate it to, you're just telling stories about a different subject, so don't be scared, just do your job. It took me about a year before I figured that out. Once I went through every season and go, oh, okay. I started in like February, on the air in March, so it was March Madness. So once I got back around to the next tournament, like, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, now this feels familiar to me. And then you just go and you do it.
Now, let's get a little deeper there.
All right.
When you think about, ESPN is iconic for telling and talking through highlights.
Mm-hmm. You're the worldwide leader in sports, man.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
When you first had to read your highlight, and what was that experience like, going through the highlight for the first time?
Oh, that was fun for me. I mean, from someone who never really did highlights, I remember my audition. I think that's one of the things that they liked when I did my audition to get my job here. I just had fun with it. It was a Dallas Mavericks highlight. Dirk Nowitzki was still in the league, and there was a fight that night. So it was one of those things where you get guys jawing at each other. So I decided to put myself like, he said this, and he said that, and he said this, and then he said your mama. Oh Lord, I don't know why he's talking about his mama. And I just kept going with it like that. I just had fun with it, which I still do with highlights, because highlights are fun. They're games. We're talking about games. These are games, and they're fun for us. I know it's their job, these athletes' jobs, but it's sports should be fun. So I try to make the highlights fun when I can, and tell the story of the game, and give you some good information, some good stats or whatever, but have fun. That's the goal.
If you could tell somebody, all right, here's the key to doing this, because you like to make a lot of stuff look easy, and it's not easy, folks. Let me be real. It's not easy. What he's saying, don't go and try it without proper training. So please dumb it down so where people can understand the keys to explaining a highlight to folks at home.
All right. So we have the basic structure on the paper. We have the situation, what happened now, and the result of the play. All right. So you have that structure. And so you have the freedom to, if I need to tell you it's the fourth quarter, I'll tell you. If I don't, I won't. I might go and add something else. Like Steph Curry is coming to tonight, having made 37 threes in a row. And the play is Steph Curry making another three. And he made another one and he got fouled. And then I could tell you the score, or I could tell you that free throw gave Steph Curry the most free throws in the history of the NBA. So I have my choice to either tell you what's going on in the game or add information to that to make it a little more interesting, but to tell you again more of a story of the game. So I'm while I have that going on, it goes back to, well, how am I going to communicate this thing? Am I going to be Joe Robot sports guy, and the score is, and he dribbles up the court, and then he shoots the ball with his right hand, and then the ball comes in and he rebounds it? Am I going to do that? or I'm gonna just do it like, I don't know, I'm at the park and we're playing 3 from Steph from the corner. Oh man, he missed that all up in dude's face. I can't believe that happened. I'm gonna get into the game because that happened. If you break somebody's ankles, oh, that's embarrassing. He ain't gonna be able to go home. They go, he knock on the door and they go, you don't live here no more because you just got embarrassed on national television. Steph Curry broke your ankles. Just, something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, and you never know until you try.
That's right.
But part of trying is also being authentic and being who you are. All my jokes ain't funny. My wife will tell you, all my jokes ain't funny. I might think they're funny. She's like, that one funny. Okay. Now you take that one out and you don't do that one no more. But that is, yes, it's not easy, but it's a fun experiment every day. It's fun to try things. But it takes courage to try things.
Yeah.
But you have to have that courage to just break out and be you. Like something Stuart told me years ago, do you. It takes courage to do you. It takes courage to put yourself out there naked like that. But that's what you have to do, I think, in order to be successful, and not just doing what I do. You just have to, you got to be transparent. You got to be real. You got to put yourself on the line. Yeah. If this is your job, whatever it is, throw yourself into it. And I think the people who you come into contact with will appreciate that. They will see that. They will reward that effort with their eyeballs, or with their buy something from you, or they'll feel safe as you're flying them across the country. I'd much rather have a pilot who sounds confident and can crack a joke than somebody who sounds like they're nervous and has never flown a plane before. You got to have that confidence,
That's incredible stuff. That you are preaching this morning.
Well, we're going to take a collection because it's the first of the month and I got some bills to pay.
I told you I'm gonna get that loan for you. I promise. Well, look, man, I want to pivot slightly because you were talking about having courage, and you kind of went into being authentic and being real. When I think about 2020 and what society and what America went through as a people, as a culture, when you think about what we've done and where we are now, we're in 2022. We're still dealing with this pandemic, but in some senses, I feel like we're all closer together. What do you think needs to be done still?
I'm glad you feel like we're closer because I don't, to be totally honest with you. I feel in a lot of ways we're further apart. The quote unquote racial reckoning after George Floyd and people worldwide marching in the streets for justice and accountability. Maybe it's because I don't see people in the streets anymore, or maybe it's because those voices aren't as loud as the other voices. It makes me feel like maybe we haven't come as far as I thought we did. So I think, what can we do? I think we need to be louder. I think all of us, if you're in it, if you're an ally, if you think you are, if you call yourself one, if you feel like you're in the struggle, then, find somebody that's with you and just be loud with it. Because there are just a lot of voices that are, in my opinion, are saying it's just a bunch of stupid stuff that need to be drowned out if we are truly going to be together as Americans, as one in this society. Now, I know everybody has different viewpoints. They're raised differently. They believe differently. And I get that. That's fine. But I do think we can do a better job of communicating with each other and educating each other civilly. And also being truthful. If somebody says something that's just real stupid, even if he's on your team or she's on your team, you got to be willing to say that was stupid. If you 2 + 2 is 4. And if you say 2 + 2 is 5, you are wrong. I don't need to both sides that. I don't need to give you no, that's wrong. If you tell me something about a piece of history that is just wrong. No, you were wrong. This is what happened. Well, I still don't believe it. Mom, that's on you.
Yeah.
But you're incorrect. And if I'm incorrect, show me. And I need to learn too. We need to learn more from each other. We need to be factual, and we need to be louder with those facts, and just drown the people that just don't need to be heard out, because there are just some that don't. Sorry, it's the truth. We got deep real quick there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And that's all right. That's a good conversation to me. So when we think about life, and you're a father, a husband, and a son, when you think about life, and you think about now how much you have put into it, talk to me about some things that you want to do to pass on now. What's important to you to pass on? And let's start off with this. As a man first, what is important for you to pass on?
I want the kids to be right. And if they're not right, I want them to have the wherewithal to try and get right, to try and, figure it out and not give up, to keep working at it, to keep learning, to want to educate their peers and want to be educated. Fortunately, we've raised 2 readers, which I think is fantastic, 2 inquisitive minds who don't take the first answer as, no, it just doesn't sound right. I'm gonna go look it up for myself. Okay. God, I hope I was correct. Okay, because you're gonna come back to me and tell me I wasn't. Okay. But I think I like that. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
If one of them says something to me or my wife, and they walk away, we got to get on the Google machine and make sure that we come correct. And it's a give and take process. It's reciprocal.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I want. I want the kids to be right.
As a professional.
Yes, sir.
What is something that you want to make sure you leave behind in your legacy?
Like I want people to say that he did his best every day to be a consummate journalist. He did his best every day to be a good storyteller, to ask the right questions, ask good questions, to present the facts, and where needed to insert an opinion, not an emotional off the top of my head thing, but something that is nuanced, researched, and just makes sense and add something to the conversation. That'd be nice. If someone thinks that I made them happy and made them smarter in some way, that would be cool.
Now it's time for the Fab Five.
All right, you ready?
I think so.
Okay, let's get started. What song would you sing at karaoke night?
What song would I sing at karaoke night? It'd have to be a Prince tune, to be honest with you. When Doves Cry.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I do Rapper's Delight.
Okay. What is your dream car?
That's a great question. My dream car. See, the younger me would say a Lamborghini, but the older me has knees that would say, I'm not getting in and out of that thing every day. You must be crazy. So it would probably be, I'd like a Rolls Royce SUV. I think that would be sweet, with like the doors and yeah.
I get it. The butterfly door. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be cool.
A lot of people don't know you do a lot of mentor work. What is your go-to advice as a Black man in journalism who mentors other journalists?
All right. My go-to advice is to be authentically you, and to don't think of yourself as a news person or a sports person. Think of yourself as a storyteller. You're a journalist. So you could go tell a story about that rock that's on the ground, or that blade of grass, or that sports team that plays in that stadium over there, because you have the skills to tell a story. You have the words, you can see, you can use the wind, you can use the colors, you can use the situation, you can use whatever. You can tell a story. Do not limit yourself by saying, well, I do sports, well, I do news, or I do such and such. No, you are a journalist, you're a storyteller. And no matter the subject, you can tell the story because you know how to write and you know how to speak and you know how to put a story together.
Okay, what is the weirdest snack that you eat?
See, gummy bears aren't weird, but I like gummy bears a lot. I don't know about if I have weird snacks.
Last question. You get to choose 2 to 3 background singers, right? You're the lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to choose any of your fellow talent or SportsCenter anchor to be your background.
No, see, I was all set to say In Vogue. Okay.
No,
now you're gonna make me choose the people that I work with.
That's
well, you just said background. Oh.
Yeah, but there's this. You get a group.
Okay. I haven't heard. Oh yeah, well, Elle Duncan would be there for sure because Elle can sing.
Okay. All right.
Because she sings in the band that we have now.
Yeah.
That COVID has, forced us on the sidelines a little bit, but hopefully we'll be out there soon. Okay. All right. Elle, Hannah.
Okay, I'll give you one more.
One more. Elle, Hannah. I'd want to put a guy, but I don't think any of the guys can sing. Yeah. Can I just have Elle and Hannah?
All right, fine. All right, fine. I'll tell the rest you didn't want them.
Because you said singers, and I just don't think that anyone else could carry a tune.
I think that's it. You survived.
I'm glad I did. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to ESPN PR on YouTube. And you can find the ESPN Pod wherever you find your podcasts.